Time for Around the Ozarks in 5, brought to you by Adventure Cave Tours. Live a day in the life of a real adventurer with Adventure Cave Tours. And the Springfield Greene County Park Board, reminding you to go play. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Forhetz.
Great to be with you on Thursday, whether you're watching on video or listening to the podcast. We are thankful you're here, and here could be anywhere, we've learned.
Here can be anywhere. That is true. All over the Ozarks, and we can be anywhere too. So we'll be back to our home before too long. Hopefully no storm damage at our place, because I know there was another big storm.
Yeah.
I feel like all the storms this summer have been big.
There have been a lot of strong storms this year, for sure.
More cleanup.
So I know people are cleaning up this morning from the storms that hit different areas last night. You can check in with Abby Dyer on her Wake Up Weather podcast, just like this one, to find out what is in store for us today and probably through the weekend.
All right. Speaking of weather, the wildfire situation is dire in Hawaii. Most of the impact is on the island of Maui, where fires rage uncontained right now, burning thousands of acres. We know at least 6 people have been killed in those wildfires. What's making them worse is hurricane force winds from Hurricane Dora, which is a very strong storm. We can tell you Convoy of Hope is currently working to send supplies to survivors of the fires, things like food, hygiene items, just essential relief supplies that you would need in the immediate aftermath. You can follow along with Convoy's response on social media. Follow Convoy of Hope on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can kind of see what help is coming from Springfield.
Yeah, it's a bad situation. We were in Hawaii a couple of years ago, and it's so wooded. So those fires get out of control so quickly that it's shocking to think that Maui is ablaze.
Yeah, it is. And yesterday, my sister was talking to a friend of hers who lived there, and they were going to try to get out by boat. So,
wow.
Yeah. Yikes. I know. All right. Now, more local news. A man from Aurora accused of murder has had all charges against him suddenly dropped. That comes following the death of a witness in the case. The prosecution determined that the testimony of the now deceased witness was crucial for their case. The case was dismissed without prejudice, which means the charges could be refiled in the future. The murder charge came from a deadly shooting on March 25th that happened on East Commercial Street.
Wow. We know Branson is adding restrictions to drag show performances across the city. The Board of Aldermen just voted to prevent drag shows within 600 feet of a church, a public park, or a school. The new ordinance also requires the venues hosting drag shows to prevent passersby from seeing it from outside through a window. So if they have windows, they would have to cover the windows to prevent anyone from outside walking to see it. Authorities in Springfield say a man set fire to a clothing rack inside the Academy Sports Store on purpose so that he could cause a scene there and then sneak out with stolen merchandise. Wow. The plan did not work as well as he thought it up in his head. He's now charged in the crime. Officers tracked him down at the library center next door. He apparently admitted to what he did and why he did it. He also just got off parole for a first-degree robbery, and he's already spent 9 years in prison. So, sad deal.
Well, with all the stormy weather yesterday that we were talking about, a bad crash involving 2 cars. You might have heard about it yesterday after one car hydroplaned and then ran into an oncoming car. That crash happened east of Springfield on Highway D and Farm Road 199. 7 people total were hospitalized in that. Most of the injured are young kids. Don't forget, slow down in the rain. And remember that even if you have great tires, you can still hydroplane. Slow down. All right. Here's an interesting story for you. You can weigh in today on what you would like to see MoDOT do to improve roads in your area. They have a list of projects that they want to do, but they also want public input. So today, this morning, from 10 to noon at the Springfield Library Center, you can go attend and let the engineers know what you would like to see on that list. Also, if you can't make it in person, you can voice your opinion on MoDOT's website.
I don't know what I would ask from MoDOT if I had my choice.
I know that on the list already, they have a list that's kind of being compiled, is the Kansas Expressway extension, which we've been talking about that. Yeah. And they've been working on it. You know, you can see the work on it too. But
I think there's progress already being made there. So I would ask for something different. maybe an HOV lane, because we've been in a town that has those.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
And it's nice. I don't know how well they'd be used.
It's funny because HOV lanes are different depending on what city you're in. Like the HOV lanes of Houston, Texas, that I was once familiar with, you can't go in and out of them like you can elsewhere. So like if you're in there, you're in, and you got to be in until there's like a place specifically to get out. I don't know. Anyway, it'd be a whole new world for Springfield Mo.
A lot to learn.
Yeah,
for sure. A strip mall in Branson just sold for $9.1 million. You probably have been to this one before. At least you've seen it. The Lakeside Shops at Branson Landing were built in 2015. They contain the Qdoba, Cold Stone Creamery, Tropical Smoothie is in there, Jimmy John's, I think, as well. So lots of good places. Located just north and to the west of the Branson Landing. So kind of perpendicular to the Branson Landing. This would be the north side.
Yeah. Makes sense that they're called the Lakeside Shops at Branson Landing because they're on the lake on the backside. But honestly, I never knew that it was called that. I just assumed that it was also part of the Branson Landing.
Right, I did too. So that's why I wanted to explain where it was, because nobody probably knows the name.
I'm tracking with you.
Maybe Bransonites do. Anyway, a Louisiana company bought the strip mall. Nothing is expected to really change. It's just a new ownership there. And the birthplace of Route 66 Festival kicks off tonight at 6 o'clock. We've been looking forward to it and talking about it for a while. It runs through Saturday night. Lots of activities are on the schedule. You can check it out online, Route 66 Festival. The classic car and motorcycle show is happening tomorrow night and Saturday night. And all throughout, there's good live music on the square and a talent show that's going on, shopping and vendors and good food. So it ends at Saturday night at about 9 o'clock in the p.m.
Yeah. So Thursday night at 6 p.m. is the official kickoff until Saturday night at 9.
Yeah.
So get out there and check out all the fun stuff. Lots of people in town for it. There's some construction also on Jefferson. So that might be a little bit of a headache, but otherwise, hopefully it'll be a great time.
And this is still our 1 year anniversary week. We're celebrating the whole week long with a contest that you can win.
1 year anniversary of Around the Ozarks in 5.
Not us.
We are not celebrating our 1 year. We will be celebrating 16 years. Don't do the math. Am I wrong?
I'm pretty wrong.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I think this year was 16. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think next year is 17.
That means we're old. But yeah, Around the Ozarks in 5 is a year old. And then we've added Abby Dyer, meteorologist, to the team. Ned Reynolds does sports. So lots of familiar faces, I guess, strangely enough, on this podcast. Like so check it out online.
Old home week. We're all getting together to do some podcasting.
Yeah. So go to aroundtheozarks.com. You can register for your chance to win a $100 gift card to Jim's Steakhouse, which is on South Glenstone. Great food there. So go subscribe to the newsletter at aroundtheozarks.com and be entered.
And good luck.
Yes. All right. Have a great Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. Here's your host, Abby Dyer.
Good morning, and welcome to your Thursday. It's going to be a much better day across the Ozarks. We are talking about much calmer weather today. Yesterday, we had that round of rain and storm activity out early for the morning drive, lasted through about lunch. A second round for the southern Ozarks, really, that lasted through after dark. And now we are just seeing much quieter conditions, decreasing cloud cover. That's in the story today. And we need a little bit of a break from the rain and storm chances. And that's exactly what we're going to get this afternoon. So some good news heading our way. Thursday is going to be pretty nice, but a headline in the forecast is that temperatures will be heating up. Talking about temperatures getting back into the 90s this weekend. Summer's not over yet, and it's going to let you know it. Good news. If you have plans to head to the lakes, the pools, do all the summer things before school starts back up, you can get all of that in this weekend. However, we are going to be dealing with a few scattered storm chances. Overall, though, today, the weather setup is pretty nice. As we look at the surface map, I see a frontal boundary that has pushed south of the area now. That means that high pressure is in control for us today in the Ozarks. It's the big blue H, and that's what we like to see. It always indicates that we're going to have sinking air, really a nice, tranquil day. Relative humidity, not too bad today. And I also have high temperatures that are going to be creeping back up into the mid 80s after the cloud cover kept us a little bit cooler yesterday. We have 80s today, but those 90s, they're back as early as tomorrow. As I mentioned, it is going to be another hot one on Friday, and we keep the heat around for the weekend. In fact, that's kind of the nature of our weather pattern. Really, it's like every 3 or 4 days, we see these numbers go up into the 90s, and then they fall back into the low 80s. And they go back up into the 90s. And that kind of looks to be the pattern as we round out the month of August. Quite frankly, as I look at some of those long range charts, that's what I'm seeing, a little bit of ebb and flow with the temperatures, but nothing that's too cold or too hot. 80s and 90s for the most part as we begin that transition into fall-like weather. The other headline for us is that I have a few chances for scattered showers and storms. I already told you the weekend's going to be hot, but it does come with at least a few storm chances in the forecast. These are not washout storm type chances though. So don't cancel any plans. If you're looking at the weekend and thinking, okay, what's the better day for outdoor activities? I think it's probably going to be Saturday because we'll have some rain in the overnight hours, Friday night into Saturday morning, bit of a break. And then again, as we head into Sunday, I see just a small chance. I'm talking like 20 to 30% chance for some isolated showers. It's not going to rain out your entire weekend, but we will have some rain around. So it's something to keep in mind as we get closer to Saturday and Sunday. High temperature today, though, probably one of the nicest days of the week. 85 degrees in the forecast today. I have decreasing cloud cover coming our way. As we move into the weekend, I've got numbers back up into the 90s, 90 degrees on Saturday, 90 on Sunday, and then we'll see temperatures that get back down into the 80s as we head closer to the early part of next week. You see that scattered chance for storms there Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Again, not washout chances any one of those days, but we will be dealing with just a little bit of rain in the area. Around the country, if you'll recall, yesterday I was talking about those high winds for the Hawaiian Islands. In fact, there were high wind warnings, red flag warnings, all sorts of wind headlines for the Hawaiian Islands. Well, you probably saw the headlines that they are creating major, major, major problems for the Big Island and Maui. In fact, evacuations ongoing. There is Hurricane Dora way off the coast, like 600 miles away. But it's close enough, and the overall weather pattern is impacting the Hawaiian Islands enough that it is just causing these huge, huge issues. Wildfires in Maui, people were actually jumping into the water to escape the flames. Really bad situation there. Hospitals being overwhelmed because of smoke inhalation and injuries from some of these evacuations. Really bad story there if you know anybody vacationing or just out in that area. The wind looks to persist, but I don't have it as strong today as we go into the weekend. So good news is that the winds calm down there. But a big reminder for everyone as we get closer to fire season that these things can happen. And that's what we're seeing happen in Hawaii. So bad deal out there. All right, it is time for the brain twister question this morning. I'm going to show you the question that we had yesterday, but it's a really exciting day again on Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather because I have convinced Joseph Arnold to wake up early and answer our brain twister question again this morning. Joseph, thank you for joining us bright and early at 5 a.m. I know what you've been waiting for is to answer this very important question that I have posed to the Ozarks. So thanks for being here.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much for having me. There's a lot on the line because as of right now, I have an undefeated record, 1-0 on the show. So I'm a little nervous, a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. All right, let's review the question from yesterday. Okay. The question was, which of these is not a real job? Was it A, an elf whisperer, B, a scuba diving pizza delivery man, C, a wild, I have to say this word slowly because I mess it up all the time, wild fowl. I always want to say wild fowl. It's one of those for me.
Like a baby horse.
Oh yeah, a wild fowl buoyancy tester. I mean wild fowl like the birds, not the foals like the horses. Yes, a wild fowl buoyancy tester, or D, a professional mourner. Which of these is not a real job?
Okay. Well, normally I like to be really methodical and go through things and eliminate things, and analyze. Today I think I'm just going to go with my gut because B, C, and D all seem like they could possibly be real. All of the little components are real. Wildfowl, those are real, and they need to float. That seems real.
We
I
should test
see.
that.
Yeah. Well, then we just created the job, so that can't be the right answer. But elves, last I checked, those are not real, and so jobs pertaining to elves cannot be real in my mind. So I'm gonna go with A, elf whisperer, not a real job, putting it all on the line.
Final answer?
Final answer.
I've always wanted to say that. You are correct.
Gah.
2-0.
All right.
Yes, an elf whisperer. And maybe this question was a little bit easier than I thought it would be. I thought this was a good question because these sound ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
All these other ones. So as I do, I looked them up. The scuba diving pizza delivery man, a real job, and one that is like so in demand in the scuba community. There is this underwater hotel in Key West or in the Florida Keys where a lot of people go to vacation to dive. Underwater hotel, and people like go there as a destination to do these dives. So they have an employee that dives and delivers pizzas. I mean, this guy is busy all day long delivering
earning
pizzas.
those tips. Yeah.
I know. How much do you have to tip?
Yeah.
Probably more.
Yeah, probably a lot.
Yeah. So that one is real. And the article that I read said like people go for that job, and it will be
perfect sense.
Yeah, and it's going to be a job for a long time as long as that establishment exists. The wild fowl buoyancy tester.
Yes.
I guess people need to know. Is a duck more buoyant than a
goose?
Goose? I still don't know, but
Someone's
we could ask them because we do have people that know this and evaluate that. And then professional mourner. I had never heard of this either. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah. Apparently, yes, this is a thing. People are paid. They consider themselves actors, but they will show up to funeral services or memorial services and, comfort the family or just like create conversation in the room. And sometimes they can even deliver a eulogy for the family.
That's really nice.
Yeah. So
keep that in mind for me, just in case I want a big. I don't want to go out with a whimper.
Okay. I will
Look
write
some of these
that
people
down
up for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that thought. But elf whisperer, let's return to the elves. This is not a real job, but there is a woman who is known internationally in Iceland who is an elf whisperer, or she says she is. And it's a volunteer job.
Oh, but it's a volunteer position. Oh, I was about to say.
There's no benefits package. But she spends her life going around to different construction sites. Like when new construction or new roads are going to be built in Iceland, she will go make sure there aren't any elf homes or elf communities because she's an elf seer that are going to be impacted by this. She has been arrested like 25 times because she will protest these roads going in because they're going to disturb villages where these elves live.
Sounds like a worthwhile calling.
Well, it is a volunteer position, but I guess of the list, it is the one that is probably not going to be replaced when she decides to retire from her volunteer position. So congratulations. Right. It is 2-0. All right. You want to take a stab at the one for tomorrow? I will not give the answer, but I'll show you the answer. We'll leave the listeners with the question for tomorrow, and then we can see if you get it right the next day. So just take a stab at it, but I won't tell you if you're right or wrong. Okay.
I will. All right.
All right. So the Perseid meteor shower happens this weekend. How fast are Perseid meteors going when entering the Earth's atmosphere? How quickly are they going? Do you think it is 133,000 miles per hour, 212, 100,000, or 450?
Wow. So I normally work in metric, so my figures are going to be a little off.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Kilometers per hour. I'm going to convert that. It's definitely, I'm very sure of this, that it's 133,000 miles per hour.
All right, Joseph's going A. If you would like to be Team Joseph and also go A, you can do that over on the Around the Ozarks Facebook page, and I will reveal the answer to you early tomorrow morning. Joseph, thank you. And congratulations early this morning on Wake Up Weather. See if you're right. Much. See if Joseph is right. Early tomorrow morning, I will have that answer for you. And make sure if you need weather information up to the date all day long, head to aroundtheozarks.com. We've got you covered there. Thank you for listening and have a fantastic day.